Hello, welcome back to the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is our day. I'm so glad to have you back here again. I'm excited to be doing an extended reading for you. Today we're going to be looking at choices. So I'm gonna pull a significator for three piles. So we'll see what comes up, what those piles might be, and then once you pick your pile, when we go into the reading, I will give an overview of what I think the various situations could be based on what the cards are for the significator. And then we will pull some cards for what we can expect on path A, what we can expect on path B, what is the expected outcome for path A, and what is the expected outcome for path B, and then what is the general guidance from Spirit for path A, and then general guidance from Spirit for path B. So it's an opportunity to kind of see what two situations are. You will need to choose in your mind, like, what do you think is path A and what is path B? So you'll want to make that decision before we go through, and then you can see what the two different paths are showing up for, if that makes sense. So you'll pick your card based on the one card that I'll lay on top of the significator pile. Then you'll go into your piles and we'll look at two different paths that could occur with a situation or decision that you need to make. All right. I want to thank all of you who have, I know it sounded a bit more complicated than I think it really is. Once we get into it, I think it'll be a bit more clear. But I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel, liked the channel, shared the channel. I really appreciate it. It's exciting to see us slowly but surely growing. And I'm happy to have every single soul that tunes in. I hope that the readings give you some light, some guidance, some confirmation for what your spirit guides, what your intuition, what your God and higher power is telling you. So again, today's reading is going to be about choices. So let's get right into the initial pile picking. And if you want to go directly into your readings, you want to choose based on crystals, then pile 1 will be the red Jasper. Pile 2 would be the yellow-white Aventurine. Here. And then pile 3 will be the Bloodstone. So those are what the pile is going to be. You can go directly to your timestamps. What I'm going to do now is pick a few cards that are going to cover the situation, and I'll show you one of those cards that will be from the Crow deck, and then we'll pull the other two piles once we get ready to get into each of those readings. All right, so let's get started. So for pile number 1, Spirit, we want to look at these are tarot cards from the Tarot Cloister deck. Oops. And so we're going to pull 3 for each pile. So Spirit, for pile 1, what is the situation that they're dealing with, that they're wanting to make a choice about? So we've got 1, 2, and 3 for the red Jasper. And for pile 2, yellow Aventurine, what are they wanting to make a decision about? What do they need to make a choice about? 1, what do they need to make a choice about? 2, and I need to make a choice about. And there's 3. Okay, and then for the Bloodstones, oops. What do they need to make a choice about? What do they need to make a choice about? What to make a choice about? Spirit looks like that one. And then, oops. I feel like it's this one. Okay, so that's going to be the tarot. We're going to do 1 charm. So for the red Jasper, do they need to make a choice about? What is the situation that they're dealing with? For the yellow and white Aventurine, what do they need to make a choice about? What is the situation? And what do they need to make a choice about? Okay. And then finally, Tarot Oracle. Let me lift this up a little bit. Okay. What does the pile 1 need to make a choice about? What is the situation? Provide some clarification on the situation for pile 2. What do they need to make a choice about? What is the situation that they're dealing with? I felt like it was that one. Okay, and then for pile 3, what do they need to make a choice about? Okay. All right, so these are going to be the significator cards, and so let's take a look. So for pile number 1, you've got distance. Distance. For pile number 2, in the yellow and white Aventurine, you've got trickery. Trickery. Right. And then for pile number 3 and the Bloodstone, you have play. Play. Okay, so those are going to be the 3 piles that we're going to dig into today. Feel free to go to the timestamps to choose which pile you want to jump into. And I will look forward to seeing you in the readings. If you are new to the channel, please go down there and click that subscribe button. If you like the readings that you're getting here, please like, share, drop a comment. I'd love to know if something resonates with you or if a particular pile resonates with you. And I will look forward to seeing you in the reading. All right, see you soon. Hello, my pile number 1. If you chose the red Jasper and the distance card, this is going to be your pile picking for the pass. And then we'll go into the reading. If you want to go directly to the reading, then you can click the timestamp that is going to take you right into the reading. What we're going to do right now is we're going to pick what a path A would be and what a path B would be. When we go into the reading, I'll read what the significator cards are and give you some idea of what the different possible scenarios could be that I'm seeing, and then you may see your own path in the cards as I talk about the cards. And then at that point, we'll take another quick breath, and then you'll decide which one is going to be your path A for your scenario and what is your scenario's path B. But right now, we're just going to pull what those cards are. So for path B, and then we're going to pull several oracle cards and several tarot cards. And I'm pulling the cards backwards so that they land. And these last sets of cards, these 2 cards that we're going to pull for path A and path B, is going to be your guidance from Spirit. Okay, so this is going to be path A. And this is going to be path B. And then this is going to be the other oracle card for guidance from Spirit for path A. For path A, for all my souls that chose that red Jasper, what is going to be A? And then for path B. Oops. Okay. Once before that, we will look at we will look at what the outcome is. What is the expected outcome? Okay, and these cards are yes and no oracle cards, but we will look at the reading and what has come through the reading to help us decide which symbol to choose. Okay, these are the pick a treasure card, and Spirit, we're looking for path A and for path B. For path B. Okay. And this is going to be guidance from higher self for path A. Path A, Spirit. Path A. Path A. And path B. Path B. for those who chose the red Jasper, path B. Okay, and then this is going to be the tarot for the expected outcome of these paths. So we've got path A, Spirit, one, path A, is that more than one? Yeah, it's going to be the 3. So we're doing 3. Okay, and then path B. Path B. Okay. All right. And then let me make sure I'm getting it right myself. Okay. And so this is going to be, what can we expect on the journey? What can we expect on the path for choice A and choice B? What can we expect on the path for choice A? Choice A and choice B. Oops. Okay. And what is the expected path into row for choice A? Choice A. Oopsie. Too many there. Choice A. One more for choice A. And then choice B. Okay, and choice B. Okay. All right, so those are going to be our paths. So we've got the significator. It's going to give us more information about your current situation. And then we've got path A and path B. All right. So that being said, you can go to the timestamp and we're going to start this reading. So I'll pause. Okay, and so those who are just joining with the timestamp to take you into the reading for those who chose the red Jasper and the crow distance card, we're going to do your reading now. So first, what we're going to do, we've already chosen what path A would be and what path B would be. So I'm going to pull these down so we can come back to those. And let's look at what the general situation is here. So you've got the distance card with the crows. And this card is talking about taking a step back and looking at a situation because you may be too close to the situation, so close to it that you're not able to kind of see things as clearly. So there's a need for you to take a step back. So let's see what else you have here. Okay, so you've got the starfish, which talks about, it says spend more time near water, rely more on your intuition. So some of you all are having some gut feelings about some things that you want to do. Maybe you have something that is in your heart to complete that you need to do, or maybe you're too close to something right now that's not allowing you to take a step back and you're considering how it is. Should I take a step back? What does that look like? How do I do that? So that might be what some of your choices are. This also says, however, you're thinking more heavily about a career or your current career. So some of you all may be dealing, this decision or choice that you're needing to make may have something to do with your career, your job, your passion, your focus, your life's purpose. All right. I'm also getting the sense that you may be in a situation, where you've been heavily engaged in your work or in your job or whatever it may be, and your intuition, because this is talking about your intuition, is pulling you towards something else, and you're trying to make a decision as to how to do that. Now, the other thing is that's what this card says in terms of distance, in terms of taking a step back. What I'm also reading from this card in terms of distance is that some of you all may be considering travel. Some of you may be considering a move of some kind and trying to indicate and trying to think about either where to relocate, I'm hearing, or whether or not to relocate, like whether to actually make a move or not. And that move could be in your career, in your job, or it could actually be a physical move, whether that be like to another city or another town, or maybe even just to another home within your city. And some of you, I'm really getting like that some of you are considering something international. So possible. Let's see what your tarot is to see what this confirms for us. So you've got the World. Yeah. So some of you are definitely, this choice that you're thinking about has to do with travel out into the world in some way, whether that's traveling within your country that you're in, or whether or not that's traveling internationally from where you are. The other thing that you may be considering, is we were talking about your career, is like, and thinking about, some of you may be actually considering a shift in whatever the work is that you're doing, because the World card is also a card of completion, and it definitely means like a successful completion. So some of you may be at a place where you may have just recently finished an educational program. Let me see, whatever you got here. Okay, yeah, you got the Star and the Page of Swords. Yeah, okay, so I was going down the right track there. So in terms of, some of you may be in a situation where you've just finished, you may either just graduated, you just finished a program of some kind, like, high school, college, graduate school, whatever it may be. You may have completed some step in your career that has, now you're needing to make a decision about what direction to go next. All right. So that may be where your choice is that you're thinking about. Now you've got this Star card here, which the Star card also talks about healing. It talks about opportunities, it talks about this sort of new openness, like a new growth, because you have come to a place of better understanding of self. Okay, so some of you, because of this idea of the intuition and maybe needing to take a step back, some of you have actually been doing some of that work already. And so what that's done is it's provided some clarity around you. And now you're at a space where you have more than one opportunity. You have multiple opportunities about how to kind of move forward in your life. And you're needing to make a decision about which choice to take, which road to take. Okay. So those are some of the situations that I'm seeing here. There could be any number of situations, because this is a general reading. But what I want to say overall is, what I'm kind of getting is this sense of choice around directionally, where do I go, either in my career or just in my life purpose, like where am I moving next? Okay. And there's also a sense that some of you are, if you're not doing that, you're making a decision about how to pull back from something you're looking at too closely. And this can be related to career. It can also be related to relationship. So some of you may be too closely focused in on a particular relationship, I'm hearing, and that you're needing to make a decision about what path to take in terms of that connection, or that how you move forward with that connection. So that's my understanding of what the choices are. I want to encourage you to take a deep breath. Think about what you think this situation relates to for you. Get some clarity for yourself, and then choose what steps you want to take for path A. What is path A? So for instance, if you're if you're making a decision about what place you're going to move to, and you're considering moving to, moving to California or moving internationally, right? So then path A might be moving to California, and path B may be going internationally, or vice versa, depending on what you feel, what your intuition guides you. If you're thinking about going to school, or you're thinking about what do I want to study in school, and you have one idea that maybe you want to study psychology, and then another part of you really wants to study theater. Okay, so you've got psychology or theater. So path A, path B. Okay, so that's how you want to think about this reading. So take a deep breath, figure out for you what is path A and what is path B. And I am going to move these over to the side and get us ready to read for path A. Okay. Okay, so let's dig into looking at pile choice A for this scenario for those who chose the red Jasper. So path A, the first section that we're going to look at is going to be what can we expect on the journey of path A. Okay, what can we expect on the journey of path A? And that is all of these cards. Okay, so you've got the King of Cups, the Two of Cups, okay, and the Four of Cups, and then you've got details, and let's see, can you see that? Maybe you can't see that. My home is my castle. Wow, okay. Interesting, okay. Oh, no, you can't see that. So it's down there. Okay. Beautiful. So these are some beautiful cards for what you can expect on the journey for path A. Okay. So the first thing that I'm seeing here is there is a lot of emotion because we've got these cups. We've got the King of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Four of Cups. So the King of Cups, he is emotionally stable, emotionally intelligent, extremely abundant. I feel like on this path that this is like connecting to your heart. It feels like this is the path that really pulls on your heart, opens your heart. His heart chakra is opening wide there. There's a sense of calm, peace, balanced emotion on this journey. Then you've got the Two of Cups, which is about connection. It's about a heart-centered connection. If this is if your two choices was about relationship and connection, the Two of Cups often talks about a love coming together. So two people coming together in a love situation. The King of Cups is also a very love-centered card, but depending on what you ask, this could also be just a very heart-centered focus. So for instance, if you were asking about career, or you're asking about which place you wanted to move to or something like that, then what this is telling me is that whatever this choice was for choice A, that it's a very heart-centered choice. It's a choice that really speaks to your passion, speaks to what makes you feel a sense of like calm, warmth, love, connection. Okay, that this is what this path is really saying. Now it's interesting here because you've got the Four of Cups. So there's something that's going on here where you have a sort of sense of apathy about something. There may have been some loss that has occurred either in the past that's causing you to not be able to fully see this opportunity. Now the good news is the way these cards fell is that she is actually looking at this heart-centered choice here, okay? But it's interesting because then we've got details, and details. This is not tarot, this is an oracle card, but it is talking about, it says here, clarity, important notes, right? And what it is really talking about, this card talks about making sure you're looking at the fine print, making sure if you're dealing with something that has to do with something contractual, maybe some of you all got a new opportunity, a new job offer, something like that. If that's the case, you want to look very closely at the contract and make sure all is as it seems. It's not saying here, there's not a sense of like deceit here. That's not the energy that I'm getting here at all. It's just a matter of you being very clear about what the details are, because that will help you. It's like they say the devil is in the details, but the blessing for you, I think, is in the details here for you to be able to understand. This card also can speak about you being detailed about something. So if there is something for instance, if some of you are applying to different programs, it's like making sure that you take the extra effort to send the thank you note to someone that gave you a recommendation, or that you reach out to a contact that you met casually and maybe got their card, but did you actually take the effort to take the detail of going and following up with people, making sure you're taking those steps. All right. So that's what this is saying here for path A. But path A feels very heart-centered. What you need to be mindful of on the journey of path A, because this is all about what would the journey look like on path A. So it looks very heart-centered, but there may be some sense of apathy. There may be this is about looking at things being half empty rather than half full. So there may be a sense that it may not be as you believed it would be. It may not be as what you believe it would be, but it's actually going to be a very positive path, a very heart-centered path. It's just that there may be a bit of a delay, is what I'm hearing, as in connection with this details card here, that there may be a bit of delay of some kind. So if for instance, some of you are dealing with, as we said, like a job situation, there might be a delay in that, in when you can actually start, or what the process of the contract is, or if you're going to a program of some kind, there may be a delay, or you could possibly maybe not get in the first time and then have to try again. If some of you are going to be traveling internationally, it's like being really conscious of these details, because there could be a delay with like visas or something like that. Like it's contractually, there may be some delays. And so that might make you feel a little bit frustrated, and like you're looking at this is not working. But I'm not getting the sense here, you all, that this path is a bad path for you. As a matter of fact, I'm getting that it's a very good path. Now it's interesting because the light just went out, the candle just went out, and I'm always paying attention to those types of things. But I'm really getting the sense that like there may be, it may feel like as you start on the path, like it may feel very joyful in the beginning, and then it may be that you feel like you're in the dark for a little bit. And I feel like this has to do with the details. And so as you continue to move forward, you need to change your mindset, put on an optimistic mindset, and things are really going to open up for this path, is what I'm seeing. Now we're going to see what the actual outcome would be for this path to help clarify for sure what it is that I'm seeing about there being a period of like not having enough light, not being very 100% clear. I think the other thing that's happening, because this card here, my home is my castle, it talks about experience of life, growth, knowledge, age, okay? It talks about defending yourself against pain and providing a foundation for your true self to continue on the journey. So it feels to me that what we're being told here as a part of this journey, that there may be some setbacks, there may be some, but this loss is not a great loss to me. It's really more about having patience. It's like an uncomfortable delay. of some kind that may be causing some struggle that needs to happen on this path for you to get the growth that you need to move to the next step. So that's what I'm seeing here in terms of what you'll see on the journey. It's a very heart-centered path. It may be the path that really feels connected with other people and internally. And you need to be mindful of the details. Might be some contractual stuff. There could be a delay on this path, but ultimately it's going to bring you to a sense of growth. But let's see what our final outcome would be for this path A. So for your final outcome cards, you've got, let's see here, the Eight of Pentacles. I'm trying to make sure that you guys can see this. Okay, so you've got the Eight of Pentacles. I'm going to put this over here with the details card. The Five of Wands. The World card. Interesting. Okay. Okay, and then this is also final. Trust. This is the final outcome. All right. And then this is the yes or no oracle. So we've got pick a treasure here. So you've got the paint tube, the vase, or the rabbit. Okay, I'm going to just talk through this here for a minute before we make a decision on what that would be. My first inclination is the rabbit, but I'm trying to figure out why it's the rabbit. Okay, so so you've got the Eight of Pentacles here, which is about diligently working on something to master it, to master your craft. It also talks about the pentacles will really represent that's in the 3D, like in the physical world. So it also can often speak of the career. So, you know, I feel like, but it really is about working on something steadily, putting in the work, persevering and working on something. So the final outcome, but the thing is that it's moving you toward mastery. So in terms of it being the final outcome, this is not a negative outcome at all. Actually, it's a very positive one. Now you do have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands, so fives can represent conflict, all right? And so we see, it looks like there's a bit of conflict here, but the Five of Wands to me is a more so about competition than, say, for instance, the Five of Swords, which really feels like conflict, right? The Five of Wands is more about, it can be even healthy competition, this need to kind of push yourself forward in some ways. Some of us move better, we grow better, we are more focused when we have healthy competition, when we're working with others to get something done, right? And so that's what this energy is. It's a fiery energy, and it's an energy of like sort of passion, but also creativity, and this sort of this push, this creative push, this creative competition. So, you know, there may be that there's an opportunity, because we got this sense here that there's like an opportunity that's coming in, but there's details in here. So it's like you're going to need to do some work on it, right? And what's going to be important for you is to not fall into this energy of loss or apathy. You're going to have to keep pushing and moving forward on this path. Now, the good news is that we're talking about the final outcome here, and the final outcome here is the World card. That's one of the final outcomes. In the World card, we've got in the as a significator over this overall choice, the two choices that you need to make. But this and so in choice A, it's saying that there will be a successful completion. There's the successful outcome within the, you know, what the cards are saying here. There's also this sense of trust. Now, trust here is talking not only about trusting others, but it's like trusting the path that you're on specifically. So it feels like this, we'll have to see what choice B is, but this is certainly feeling like a good choice for you, because this is saying trust yourself and trust the path that you're on is divinely guided, okay? And so just sort of trust the universe, trust your higher power to be guiding you in the direction that you need to go. So that is also a good sign here. Now, let's look here at this. I feel like it is the rabbit. That is what is coming up. And the way these cards work is that you pick a treasure. It's a yes or no oracle. Now, some of you may not have asked a yes or no question, and that's fine. I'm just going to read what the oracle says in this one, with it being the rabbit. But again, if you asked a yes or no question on path A, then this is what the answer is coming up to be. And if you didn't, then this may just give us some additional input to what this path will look like. All right. So that being said, what it says is, okay. Ice crystals gather and form your answer on a field. No. So it's saying that there's a no here. So I don't know. To me, that is not necessarily saying that this is not the right path, but it just depends on if you had a question in mind. So that is what this is saying here. Okay, and then let's look at the final guidance from Spirit, which is growth. Okay, and be the hunter, not the hunted. So I want to look into that one a bit. So the growth card is all about this idea of the mushrooms growing underneath the surface, and that you all have been, which is actually kind of ties in quite nicely to the star, because it speaks about this idea that you are kind of growing. You may have been growing under the surface. You may have been doing some healing along the road of, either within your career or also like sort of growing intellectually. The Page of Swords, which was your overall significator too here, is also like a messenger of learning. The Page of Swords has a ferocious curiosity, intellectual curiosity to grow. And so some of you all may have been doing some study for a period of time, okay? And this card of growth is sort of saying, it kind of talks about a period of time in which you burst open, right? Like your growth it all comes at one time, because the way that the mushrooms grow in the forest is that you don't see anything happening for a period of time. They're growing underneath the surface, and then all of a sudden the entire forest floor is covered with these beautiful pop-ups of mushrooms, and they've been interconnected and communicating with each other. So there's a sense here that this path is a path of growth for you, okay? And we got that also earlier with this My Home is a Castle card, really talking about this idea of knowledge and growth and wisdom, right? So I feel like this path here is a path of wisdom. But what's nice about it is there's a lot of heart-centered energy on it as well. Now this be the hunter, not the hunter. Be the hunter, not the hunted, right? Is talking about this idea of how you're going to walk in this path, because now this is guidance from Spirit. So I feel like Spirit is saying on this path that you need to be the leader. It says, do you feel you're at the beck and call of circumstances, situations, and relationships that are outside of your control? Is your attention being called away from what you love, from your passionate focus upon your journey in creative self-expression? Okay. It's saying that it's not the needs of others that are more important than your own. It's not compromise. That is unhealthy and neglectful for yourself. Okay. So to ignore your own journey out of misplaced guilt, shame, unworthiness, or the belief that the needs of others are more important than yours is not healthy. Okay. So you're being asked to see through the assumptions, expectations, tantrums and manipulations that may be put upon you by yourself or others. See through them to the truth. You can only sidestep, change your response to, or choose to release that which you can recognize. Okay, so this oracle here is bringing you important news that you are capable of seeing the truth, outsmarting your old patterns within your own mind and with other relationships, and even relationships can be like in relationship to work, in relationship to other people, in relationship to what you believe is possible for you in terms of like, oh, I never thought I could travel internationally. Well, guess what? You can. Okay. So become still and intent with the willingness to see the truth. And in so doing, you will open yourself to be shown a whole other way of moving. All right. So spirit is really, this path I feel like is really a path of growth for you. Okay. It's a path of growth. It opens up the world to you. I like that it's connected to the significator card there. And then we've also got this other kind of self-healing and growth and knowledge learning and all of that, needing to work diligently on what you're doing. So this is path 1. Now, if you had a question around this, now some of you, I feel like what spirit is telling me is that some of you, this no is because when you were thinking about this path, this is the path that you want to, okay, this is the path that's available to you, one of the paths that are available to you, but you had a question in your head that had to do with what I'm hearing, like an individual. But should I do this to the other individual, or should I keep this, I don't know, something about, there's something about you needing to kind of hold your own counsel, right? So to make your own decisions, because this idea of like not being the hunted, but being the hunter, taking control over the path and the direction that you're going to take in your life, whatever that might be. Now, again, this is a general reading, and I'm getting a lot of different thoughts in my mind right now. So I feel like some of you, this has to do with a boss, that there's something about that, or a job situation, or maybe you feel like you're so close as we got here into a job situation that you're not able to fully take a step back and be like, no, you can really step away if that is not where your passion is, if there's something else you need to make a decision about. So that this no here, just be conscious of what that no is, what was in your head in terms of what questions you were asking, because I do not believe that the no that we got in this pick a treasure has to do with a no to this path. I feel like it has to do with how you're thinking about this path, or what is involved there, like an individual of some kind. Okay, so take what resonates, you all, and leave the rest. I'm going to move us. I'm going to clear this off, and I'm going to take us to look at path B. Okay, all right. Okay, pile number 1, all those who chose the Jasper. And now we're digging into your second option, your choice B. So the first thing we're going to look at now is looking at what is the journey, what is the path of the journey for choice B. And you have, get these cards out. These are the cards for the journey. And you've got the Hanged Man, the Magician, 2 very strong cards, and the 8 of Cups. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, so the Hanged Man and the Magician are both major arcana, those are 2 strong cards to start off for this path. So this particular path, so this is path B. We've already talked about path A, and this path is the Hanged Man is about taking a pause. And it's interesting because you've got in the overall significator of what the situation is, you've got that distance card with the crow here. And this card is really about being too close in on something and needing to pull back. And this Hanged Man is exactly what you're doing there. It's about really kind of pulling back, being paused, and she's dropping down into this, sort of space of enlightenment, spirit getting a download from your higher power to help guide you. But this some people consider the Hanged Man as like a stagnation. I see it as more of a pause, because it's a pause that like allows you to, if you use that pause, you can use it more as self-reflection. Now, the Magician card is a beautiful card to have within this path, because it talks about your power of manifestation and being able to create that which is in your heart's desire, being able to create anything from nothing, really. So this sort of sense of like connecting to the divine and then being able to use your powers to create what it is that you want to create in your world. Now, it's interesting because we've got this Eight of Cups here. Now, I know in your path A, you had some other, it was like a bit more balanced emotionally, I think, in that path. This path feels a little bit more, the journey might be a little bit challenging at first, right? It may be a bit slower, but that doesn't mean it's not a good path for you. So let's just see how it gets played out here, because the Eight of Cups here is talking about having to leave something behind, okay? Letting something go. And I can tell you from my own experience that sometimes letting things go opens up, well, not sometimes, pretty much always, it's going to open up a new path. It's like she's like walking out to this rising sun, letting go. It's almost like she's done this sort of burning ritual of letting go of some thoughts that have been holding her back, some people, some circumstances, some places that have been holding her back, some friend groups, some jobs, so whatever it might be, she's letting those things go so that she can go into her new world. All right. So it's like there's this sense here that on this path, you may already be in this Hanged Man space, quite frankly. So, many of you may already be in this space where you feel like you're a bit stuck, like you can't move forward, like there's just sort of sense of like things are just not moving in the direction. And it's almost like Spirit is saying you just need to release, because it's surrender, right? Because that's what the Hanged Man is. It's about surrendering. So it's a need for you to kind of surrender. And as you're in that space of surrender, Spirit is going to be able to fill you up, recharge your batteries, recharge you with the powers of your own manifestation to be able to create the things that you need. But in this space, it will become clear to you that there are certain things that you have to let go of to be able to go to the next space. And now that's why sometimes this journey right here could be it could be a very enlightened journey, but it can also be a little bit challenging at first, because as human beings, we have a hard time with this sense of sort of letting go. Let's see what else you've got here. So you've got make a choice. Look at that. Wow. You've got make a choice. Wow. This card really talks about spirit being with you in the process of making a choice. And it's really saying that actually either path is going to be a blessed path, right? And now we are talking about path B, right? But within the path of path B, there is an opportunity that you're going to need to make a choice here. And that either one of the choices that you make is going to be a blessed choice. But the key thing is you need to make a choice. All right. So you may be in a bit of a pause, a bit of a stagnation, but Spirit is saying you have the power to create what you need to create. You have the power to walk away from, let go of the things that you need to let go of, so that you can go to the path that brings you the most blessing. Now, either one of these looks like really great paths. However, this does look a little bit more magical. There's some stuff going on over there, although this color is really nice. So anyway, they're both of the paths are blessed. All right. So it seems like you've got a good choice. Interesting. Wow. Okay, so you got, this is a beautiful card. It says keys on trees. And I just think it's so amazing. Like, I feel like just intuitively looking at this card, this reminds me of the making a choice card. It's like there are all types of doors around you. All you beautiful souls that chose pile number 1, this path B, seems like there are a lot of options for you, a lot of doors that you can walk through, and that your opportunities are really surrounding you in terms of what direction you want to go. There's really a sense here of you manifesting your own journey forth, that you are the magician, you are the power source of your life, okay? This card says, believe in yourself, solutions, and creativity. Okay, it says, on top of the winding, shiny metal tower, there's an elephant captured in a cage. It's almost like that hanged man, right? Saying in the hanged man. A vast jungle of giant trees and plants surround him, but the elephant is not distressed. There are keys hanging from the trees. If he picks one, he can open the cage and release himself into the wild. And when I hear that, it's like release yourself into the world. No situation is too complicated to be solved. Look in unexpected places for answers. You have the creativity to find the way out. Come on, y'all. This is beautiful. So in terms of what you can find on the journey, it just is really saying here that there's a lot of different ways. You know, it's like they say, like, if you can't go over it, go under it. If you can't go around it, go through it. If you can't, whatever, it's like you have a lot of different options about how you approach what you need to do within this path B. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot, this path feels, well, I mean, they both have their pros and cons, which is why it's so difficult to make a choice sometimes. But this is certainly talking about a sense of freedom, a sense of creating your own path, moving yourself forward. Okay. There's a bit more, I'm getting the sense of a bit more autonomy, if you will, in this path, but some challenging issues of having to let go of some things. But that's just going to open up even more choices and opportunities for you in your life. And so I really encourage you to think about whether or not this is the direction for you. Now let's look at what the potential outcome is of pile B, or choice B. Okay, so for pile 1, your choice B, your outcomes. Let me just make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. Okay, yeah, that's the guidance from Spirit. Okay, so your expected outcomes in this pile, choice B, is going to be the 9 of Wands. Okay, this is all about perseverance, moving forward. You're almost there, right? That's really what is in that card. We'll see what else it is. The cards are sticking here. Okay. Okay. The Page of Swords. Interesting. It's so interesting how it's like, so you had the Page of Swords as the overarching, and this is this sort of sense of curiosity, ferocious curiosity, this messenger of like really wanting to learn, like this intellectual pursuit, right? There's a sense of like really pushing forward into there's a very a youthful energy here, right? Because pages have that youthful energy of being able to really tackle the world, you know, expand your horizon, step into the world, right? You have all these choices and opportunities here for you in path B. Interesting. Okay, so you've got the 3 of Swords. So in terms of the potential outcome, there's some heartbreak here. And it's interesting because we've got this letting go here. We've got this 8 of Cups and we've got the 3 of Swords. So anytime we have to let go of something, there is this sense of heartbreak. And I'm hearing this very clearly that these two are connected. So that it may be that something that you have to let go of, and understand that this can be a thought process. This can be something that you've like held on to, like just held tightly to, because I'm getting because of a feeling of lack, right? A feeling like this is the only thing I have. And so I need to hold on to this, whether that be a job, whether that be a person, whether that be an idea, whatever it may be, and that there will be a sense of loss, grief. This card is about heartbreak, right? And our heart can be broken in a lot of different ways, okay? So this is talking about the outcome. Now you've got interesting. Wow, look at that. You've got vision, okay? And this is reminding me of the Magician card, right? And the sense of like really tapping into your intuition. You know, this path feels like it is a bit more challenging because you do have the Hanged Man. So this is a sense of pause, this heartbreak, this need to let go of something. And yet at the same time, there's so much power in this path of being able to create your own world, persevering, which is going to give you a sense of growth, this useful energy of pursuing an idea of something moving forward, and tapping into your vision and intuition so that you can really make a choice. All of these choices are blessed. There's so many keys, so many different opportunities that will come to you after you let go of these things, okay? Now you've got the Star card. This is all about healing. And so it can also really apply to heart healing, all right? But this is here. We can't look away from that. Interesting. Okay, so this is the pick a card treasure. And I feel like what we're seeing here is going to be the card is the choice here is going to be the Star. I'm kind of debating between the Wand and the Star because we've got the Magician here, but we've got the Star here. So actually, I think I am going to have to go with the Wand now that I think about it, because the Star is overarching, and the Magician is specifically for this path. And so we're talking about the outcome for this path. So we're going to take the Wand as the yes or no answer there. Now, in the last reading, or in the last path we saw in path A, we realized that the yes or no was not to the path itself, but to a question that you have in your head. So if any of you all have a question in your head right now, this is what this is referring to, okay? And a question in regards to the path. So we're going to look up the Wand. And what we get with the Wand is, taking me a minute here to get to it. Okay, so this says, the third star closest to the moon revealed your answer, and it is yes. Okay, so we got no in the path A, and we got a yes in path B. Okay, so that's what we have for the final outcome here. And this is kind of the story that we're seeing here for this. Now let's see what the guidance is from Spirit for path B. So you've got joy. Interesting. Okay. Wow. Look at that card, you guys. Free from judgment, free to love. That is really, really gorgeous. Wow. And I feel like it does fit right over that Three of Swords here. This free of judgment. The Hummingbird Spirit is a beautiful card. It talks about just an abundance of joy. It talks about, you know, Spirit really wanting you to tap into your joy, to allow the energy of joy to push you forward, right? To push you forward on this path, all right? To seek your joy, okay? Seek your joy and stay in that energy of joy, and more joy will be cultivated by your thought process of staying within joy. All right. And then this beautiful free from judgment, free to love. So this says, imagine a world so infused with bliss, love, and wonder that you naturally and always feel as safe and as nourished, cherished baby in the arms of the universal mother. Life mothers us with kindness, and sometimes when we need it to grow through challenge as well. Accepting this mothering in its gentle and fierce faces can be difficult at times, yet there are those brave enough in spirit to go forth onto their life path with absolute trust in the universal mother. Some are even part of her plan to help mother others so that they too can surrender fear and live more freely. So the message here for you is you are learning about mothering and being mothered. You might not do this in a typical way. It might be through bearing children, but it could also be through adopting children, raising children, or otherwise taking care of children and loving them as if they were your own. It can also be about mothering yourself, taking care of yourself, okay? So I feel like what Spirit is really saying here is that this journey here may be difficult at times, but it is in that journeying, it is in that fierce mothering, right? Those boundaries that you put up for yourself, for those ways that you push yourself to let go of things that are no longer serving you so that you can step fully into your joy, is a big fat yes from the universe, okay? Step into your vision. There's a lot of opportunity for you here, okay? Allow any stagnation that you may be feeling, any sense of pause, to let you sink more fully into your connection to your higher power, into the source that fuels you, okay? So that is what I'm seeing here, you all, with Path B. This is the reading that I have for you all today for pile number 1 who chose the red Jasper. Okay, and so we've looked at pile A, choice A and choice B. Hopefully this has given you some information, some intuitive confirmation about directionally what feels right for you at this time in terms of making your choice. I hope that you make an abundant, joyful choice and that you have a beautiful day. Thanks so much for joining. If you have not yet subscribed, please go down there and click that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next reading. Okay, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose the white, yellow Aventurine, this is going to be your pile. Now what we're doing here is actually the pile picking for the 2 choices, choice A and choice B of the path. We're going to go into the details of what the situation is and then into path choice A and choice B, but first we're going to pull the cards for those paths. Now if you chose the trickery card, this is what we're going to be pulling the card on. So just as a quick note on trickery, this is letting me know that you all, some of you may be dealing with someone that is causing some deception or doing something that's a little deceptive so that they can get their own way. And so we'll read the other cards that we pulled as well when we go into the actual reading. But what we're going to do now is we're going to pull a set of cards for your path choice A and for your choice B. And then we will go into reading those cards. So when we go into the actual reading, I'll go over what different scenarios they may be. It's a general reading, so you'll have to kind of figure out what is the right scenario for you, and then you'll want to decide what then are the 2 choices that you're debating. You may already have those in mind, so just see if the significator resonates with you, and then choose what your choice A and choice B would be. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull our cards for choice A and choice B. So I'm going to lift this up a bit so I have room to shuffle. Okay, and so Spirit, we are now looking for all those beautiful souls that chose pile number 2. What is their choice A going to be? And I'm pulling the cards backwards for the reading, so this is going to be guidance from Spirit for choice A, and now for choice B. I believe it's this one here. choice B, guidance from Spirit. And then we're going to pull this other oracle deck for guidance from Spirit for choice A and choice B. Okay. And then we are using the yes/no oracle that we will choose which one of the different symbols based on what we're seeing in the rest of the reading. And we're going to pull one for choice A and one for choice B. So I feel like this is choice A. Okay, and then for choice B. Okay. All right, and then this is from the Higher Self Oracle on guidance for the expected outcome for choice A. Expected outcome for choice A. And I feel like it's this one, choice B. Okay. And then we're going to pull the tarot for the expected outcome for choice A. And pull a couple more tarot for the expected outcome for choice A and for choice B. What Spirit is the expected outcome for choice B? For choice B, expected outcome. Okay. And this is for the journey. So the first part is we're looking at what is the journey for path for choice A. Oops. And the expected journey for path B. Expected journey. What can we expect on the journey? So we're pulling this oracle also for what can we expect on the journey of path A. What can we expect on the journey of path A? That one. And what can we expect on the journey for path B? And then we'll pull the tarot for what can we expect on the journey for path A. This one. I feel like it was that one. And we got one more for path for choice A. And then for choice B. And one more for choice B. Okay. All right. So those are going to be our piles for the different choices. Choice A and choice B. And I'm going to pause for a moment and then we're going to go into the reading for pile number 2. All right. So welcome all of you who have joined us for pile number 2. We just did the pile picking for what would be choice A and what would be choice B. What we're going to do first is we're going to look at the significator cards that we pulled to get a sense of what is the situation that we're dealing with for all of those who chose the yellow-white Aventurine stack, pile number 2. And you've got trickery. So trickery is this card that speaks about, seems like the candle, oh, there we go. That speaks about deception. It really speaks about someone being in your world who is kind of up to deceiving you or being deceptive in some way so that they can get their own way. All right. So it lets you know that, you know, if you have a contract to sign, it's best to give it a closer look. Okay. There may be something in there that's not what you discussed and it might not be favorable for you. Trickery can be in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Sometimes trickery can be very, very dangerous. And sometimes it can be as simple as, you know, trying to get you out of the house for a birthday party or something like that. Okay, so there's a lot of different ranging here. Okay, but you need to be mindful of what's going on in the world around you. Okay, it indicates that it also could be an opportunity for you to do some creative thinking, if you will, about how you're approaching something. Because sometimes being, I wouldn't necessarily say deceptive, but being a bit discreet or stealth can be necessary in your given situation, depending on what's going on. So it's being mindful of what's happening in your environment and being mindful of how you're moving in your environment. Okay, so that's the first thing we see. And what is the situation you're dealing with? Then you've got crown. Okay, and the first thing that comes to mind when I think of this is that, like, you know, your crown, you walk around with your crown, which is like your head, your thought, what is leading you in your purpose here. Now, this is saying your ego has been in the way lately. Work on becoming more egoless. So it may be that in your situation you have been caught up in ego. I'm also getting sense, because of this trickery card, that there may be some other big egos that are around you. Okay, so being mindful of that. It also is suggesting here, and it's saying allow others to help you. It's okay for someone else to straighten your crown without you feeling uncomfortable. So there's this sense of, like, what I'm getting is a sense of, like, you really holding on to something very tightly, but holding on to something tightly that is actually causing you harm. Okay, so that might be the situation that you're in, but you're having to make a choice about something here. This talks about exerting your leadership qualities, right? Putting that crown back on your head. All right. Some of you may be allowing others to make decisions for you. Okay. And some of that may be because the other people around you are not being totally honest with you. And so you're like giving some of your power away. Okay. So this is something to be mindful of. But let's see what the actual tarot cards are saying. Yeah, look at that. Okay, you've got the 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords lets me know that many of you, my beautiful souls that chose pile number 2, may be in a state of anguish, worry, anxiety that's possibly keeping you up at night. This 9 of Swords cards talks about, it can talk about heartbreak, but it's also just like this really this intense sense of, like, anguish, worry. Self-doubt, what's it called? Like I don't want to say abuse. It's like just beating yourself up, mentally. It's a very mental card with all of these swords in here. It's all about your thoughts and having thoughts that are just controlling your sleep, controlling what you're focusing on. All right. And I feel like it may be because you're aware that there is some trickery going on around you, and maybe you feel trapped in some way in dealing with that trickery. Yeah, you got the 2 of Wands here, which is about needing to make a decision towards your goals. He's sort of holding the world in his hand. It's possible for you to make a choice that is going to lead you out into the greater world where you need to be, away from this trickery, away from this, this sort of self-defeat, this self-anxiety, this worry, hurt. Okay. And then, interesting. So you've got the Hierophant, right? So the Hierophant can also be about it. Like, I'm really getting structures here, although the Hierophant can also be about higher learning, expanding your horizons, all right? Spiritual connection. All right. But what I'm getting here in connection with these other cards is that here is like the Hierophant can represent sort of rigid structures, the way that things need to be, like traditions, religions being also like rules and regulations, following the rules and regulations. So I'm really hearing from Spirit that some of you all may be those type of individuals where you're feeling a bit trapped right now under the rules and regulations of your world, whether that be some tradition that you're a part of, some religious tradition you're a part of. It could literally be your job or the mental, the rules and structures that you have internally. Like sometimes we live by our own, I wouldn't say moral code. I mean, there is a moral code, but it's like on top of that moral code, because we don't necessarily want to break our moral code, but like sometimes we've developed these rules and restrictions and guidelines that we have for how we need to walk and live in our lives that are sort of arbitrary, or they have been placed on us by others. Okay. And that, the Hierophant can sort of be that enforcer, if you will, of that. And because of the nature of the other cards that are here, this idea of sort of being deceived, that there's some deception going on, this sense of overall frustration and anguish and pain that you're dealing with. And this is often alone in the dark at night when you're unable to sleep, and things like that. And then you've got this sense of like, you need to make a decision and do something to move forward. All right. So depending on what your situation is, you may have in front of you two options that you've been thinking about. Some of you, it may be, do I stay in this situation or do I leave this situation? A and B. Okay. Or, or vice versa, however you feel compelled to do it, or there's so many things that this could be, right? But this sort of sense of feeling stuck, feeling like it's causing you anxiety by some restrictions that either you're placing on yourself or that are being placed on you by your environment, your outside world in some way. Okay. And this need to make a decision. You already know that you need to make a decision. That's probably why you're listening to this pile. And so really thinking about what is your choice A and what is your choice B. And let's take a look at what that is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put these up here so that we can refer to it if we need to. Put this here so it doesn't burn. Okay. And then there we go. And the trickery. All right. So now we're going to look at choice A. That's for choice B. So we're going to look at choice A. And the first part of the reading is to look at what we can expect on the journey of choice A. What can we expect on the journey of choice A? And these are the cards for that. So you've got the Five of Swords, the Knight of Swords, very mental. This is very mental. And the King of Cups. Interesting. The King of Cups came up in reading 1 for their journey as well. And Peaks of Joy. Beautiful. And Liberty. Woo. Wow, that is gorgeous. Liberty. All right. So in terms of what can we expect on the journey if we choose choice A, right? Initially, you're going to be questioning yourself a lot. You're going to be in your head of like, is this the right thing to do? I shouldn't do this. Oh my God. And it almost feels like this is the sense of like stepping away from that Hierophant, needing to break those rules in some ways. You may be really questioning yourself. But what's really intense about this card is I'm seeing this person back here. If you can see them, like there's sort of sense of freedom, right? So there's a freedom that can occur. But there is going to be a mental struggle here. And part of that is because you all are in a mental struggle. So a path that you choose to take forward you're going to have to work through what's going on in your head. Okay. It's lessened from the 9, right? By going to the 5, but it is still a struggle. It is still a struggle. The 5 of Swords is really, it's really this intense mental struggle that you're dealing with here. Okay, now you've also got the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords this path is really about moving swiftly. The Knight of Swords is pretty much the fastest energy in the deck. I suppose there's 8 of Wands, but the Knight of Swords is very fast moving, and I love here because there's like this sense of sort of chasing after spirit, being guided by spirit and moving closer to where you need to go, moving in the direction towards success, all right? But moving very quickly. There's a need for this path. It feels like, possibly because of what's going on right now, there's some quick decisions need to be made, and then you just need to get to stepping. Like, you really need to move forward. Now, where this is going to bring you to is a place of emotional balance. This is like almost the polar opposite to the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is so much about mental anguish, not being connected to your body, like just in struggle, just really suffering, right? Whereas the King of Cups is about wholeness, is about emotional balance. It's about being connected to the inner and the outer, not only being connected to your own feelings, but the feelings of those around you, and being able to leverage both your internal world and your external world to be able to have harmony. Okay, so that is what this King of Cups is. And so it's a really beautiful energy to have within your journey. And then you've got this beautiful card of the Peaks of Joy. And this card is all about just having so much joy that you are like bubbling over with joy, and it fuels and ignites other people's joy around you. This card is also a card about transformation, with this butterfly here of like transforming into this beautiful energy of like jubilant joy, right? And so that's a beautiful card to have on what is expected on the journey, is that once you can get past this sort of mental frustration, this mental just yammering. I just keep hearing this like, wah, 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 wah. That's what I always hear when I hear this crow, like right in your ear, just trying to tell you different stuff. It's like you need to step away from that. You need to get clear of that crow so you can get to that freedom that's behind there, when you can, the crows are far away, right? They have flown away. They're far away, and you can hear yourself breathe again, right? And then be able to step into that pure joy of the Peaks of Joy that would be coming through. And then liberty, this is so lovely because it talks about choices, confidence, letting go and self-determination, just choosing to say no more of this struggle, no more of this hurt. Let me step into this, okay? This card stands for the freedom you have to choose your own way in life. Don't let others decide for you. And we talked about that earlier, right? That there's this sense of others making decisions for you, okay? You have the power to liberate yourself from both external and internal cages. Many of the obstacles we face are ones we create ourselves. So once we realize we've created them, we have the power to release them, okay? And let them go. Let yourself, let your heart, let your belief, let your thought processes out of the cage, beloveds. Let it go. And this path is leading you to a place of liberty, okay? Joy and liberty. I'm liking this path so far, but let's see here what we can expect the outcome to be within this path, all right? And what we have for that is, we pulled Four of Pentacles, okay? These stick together. The Emperor. Wow. I mean, that's a totally different energy than giving somebody else your power. This is stepping fully into your power with confidence, with strategy. The Four of Pentacles is about stability. Yes, you're holding on to something, but there's this sense of like needing to hold on to it here. Now, sometimes this can talk about holding on to it due to a sense of lack, okay? But there's also a sense here that I'm getting that's about an expected outcome being, this sense of building a foundation, that you're building a foundation for yourself, and piece by piece, that is moving you to this sense of the Emperor. I love the fact that the Emperor card is here. And Judgment. So the Judgment card is also talking about forgiving yourself and forgiving others. Okay, excuse this little tag here, but we have to be mindful of YouTube rules. And so The Judgment card is about accepting yourself fully and wholly with all of your flaws, with all of your beautiful goodness, with all of your brilliance, all of it. Just accepting all of who you are and moving forward. I think this is a beautiful outcome because you've got the stability of the Four of Pentacles, the foundation building of the Four of Pentacles, the beautiful, strong energy of the Emperor, who is wise, who is smart, who is abundant, who has gotten to where they need to by using strategy. We talked about this sense of stealth from the trickery card, maybe having to use a little bit of stealth yourself to be able to maneuver out of your situation for this choice A. And then you've got intuition, using your own third eye, using your own understanding of yourself, because I really feel like you all already know what is going on here, okay? And so this path, choice A, is about really leaning into what you already know, leaning into the guidance that you're getting from your guides and your higher power to move yourself forward out of a situation that is causing you a lot of anxiety and struggle, okay? Now, we've got this card here is a yes or no oracle card. Yeah, okay. So the first card that what I'm getting that we need to pull here is the Sun, okay? So now if you have a question, this would be a yes or no answer to that question for this path. So for the choice A, that is what this is for. So let's see what the oracle says for the Sun. And I feel like the expected outcomes here are very positive for this choice A. So let's see what it says here. This yes or no is not necessarily a yes or no to the path. It's a yes or no to a question that you may have in your head around the path. All right, I hope that makes sense. So the answer is the rain left a message in a field just for you. Yes. Okay. So the yes or no oracle is saying yes in terms of when we're talking about expected outcome. Okay. So that's what we're seeing here. Now let's look at the final guidance from Spirit for choice A. Okay. So for choice A, wow. Okay. You got miracles. Not bad. Oh, wow. Release the dark wound. Let love live. This feels like a really good path for you all, I must say. So the rainbow waterfall miracles, that it literally is that. It really is. Lean into that space of miracles. Trust and know that miracles are possible. And not only are they possible, but they are being manifested. Everyday miracles are occurring all around you. Watch for them. Embrace them. Let go of fear and doubt. As you notice and accept the small wonders in your life, greater gifts will grow around you in amazing, spectacular ways. So be open to receive. So there's also a sense here from Spirit that they're saying they want you to acknowledge the small miracles that are happening as you're going along this journey. There's also another reminder here about being really conscious about your thoughts, turning your thoughts to a sense of gratitude. When you're hearing that, you need to do this, you didn't do that, turn all of that nammering into gratitude. Force yourself to start thinking thoughts of gratitude to try to be louder than, drown out the naysayer within your own head, okay? Drown out the naysayer in your own head, all right? And then this beautiful card Release the dark wound and let love live. This is also about the healing, because you've got some dark wounds there with that 9 of Swords. And this is really talking about detaching yourself, okay? Detaching yourself and letting go of a grip that you have on yourself, okay? It can be a grip of perfectionism. It can be a grip of rules, harsh structures and rules that are keeping you from being able to move out of a space of suffering. We are not meant to suffer, okay? So if you're in a place of suffering, that is not where you are meant to be. That's not where Spirit wants you to be. Okay, so it's really asking you to let go of the suffering. You're being asked to honor the path of your own love, what inspires you, what feels exciting, joyful, and perhaps even different. But let that live. Release the dark wounding of false belief. All right, and step into your life, step into your joy, step into your abundance. All right, this is what Spirit is saying around path A, choice A, miracles and letting go so that you can fully receive. All right, so that's what I have here for choice A. Let's get into choice B. I'm going to pause the video so that I can clear this off, and then we can pull out choice B for all you beautiful souls who chose pile number 2. Okay, pile 2 with the yellow, white Aventurine. This is going to be your choice B. So we just looked at choice A, and we're looking at choice B. And the first thing we're going to look at is, what can we expect from the journey of choice B? What can we expect from the journey of choice B? And that's what we have. These cards are for. And you've got the 4 of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, okay, and the Hermit. Interesting. Okay. All right. So it's interesting because this pile is starting off with this sort of sense of celebration, like a community celebration, coming together with friends and family and celebrating some joyous occasion. Sometimes it kind of can depict like like a wedding or a birthday celebration or a reunion, a family reunion of some kind. But this just sort of sense of celebration. The other thing that the 4 of Wands actually represents is this sense of stability, right? Kind of getting into this place of like not necessarily stability, yes, but foundation, right? That there is a foundation of something. So it's an actually very positive and joyful card. And then it's followed here by the Knight of Pentacles, which I like for you all because there's this sort of steady, deliberate movement forward toward success. Just slowly building on your success step by step. The Knight is right before the Queen, which is a beautiful manifestation of abundance, right? The Pentacles represent sort of the physical world. So there's this sort of sense of it can be about career, but it can also just be about sort of foundations, building foundations in your life. Now, you've also got the Hermit card here. And I love this particular Hermit card because the Hermit card is about going within, trusting your own guided insight, right? Trusting that you are carrying your own light and that light is connected to the divine, which is enlightening you. This individual is so enlightened that she's in fact elevating. Elevating, is that what I want to say? Yes. That's not the word I'm looking for. Levitating. That's what I'm looking for. She is levitating. She is levitating, and she's like sort of sitting amongst the light of the divine, amongst her own light, and her lantern is right there. Okay. So there's this sort of sense of going within and finding the answers that you need within. That is what we find in the Hermit card. So in terms of what we can expect on the journey, there's a sense of stability here. There's a sense of sort of a slow moving process and some introspection that is going to be as a part of this journey of choice B. Interesting. Okay, so you've got follow the leader, and day and night. Okay, so let's take a look at these a bit closer. So this day and night card, I think that it's really telling in terms of what it is that you are dealing with. She is holding the sun in her hands, okay? The moon is behind her. And there's this sense of like unclarity in her face. And this card talks about the need to make decisions, that there's choices that need to be made, and that there's this sort of sense of hesitation. But it's a reminder that we always have the answers right at our disposal, right in our hands. Okay, so this is a beautiful card in terms of what you will find on the journey. This journey is going to require you to be able to make the choices and decisions that you need to make. However, what's really nice about this path is that even though that might be challenging for you, the truth is that once you are able to do that, this beautiful follow the leader card is talking about all the suffering, all of the sorrow that you may have been going through or going through right now have really crystallized for you into a beautiful crown of wisdom, okay? A beautiful crown of wisdom that you now need to use to be a leader, to lead others to the light that you have found through your own struggles within your life, okay? This card also talks about you looking toward the leaders that you respect. Not just the leaders that are in front of you, but the leaders that you respect, and emulate those leaders because others are going to be following you. So these cards together are just a beautiful reminder that the struggles that you may be going through now are what you can go through on choice path B, right? In choice B, there's this sense of building a foundation, moving slowly and diligently towards your goal, tapping internally, making the decisions that you need to make so that you can be the leader that you are meant to be in this life, moving towards your life purpose. So that is really gorgeous in terms of what the journey, what can we expect of the journey of choice B. So now the second part of the reading is to look at what is the expected outcome of choice B, all right? And for that, you've got the Hierophant. Look at that. Okay, this is interesting though, because the way I'm perceiving this Hierophant is about learning. It's about higher learning. It's about broadening horizons. You know, the Hierophant, as I said before, can kind of represent these sort of dualities, right? It can also represent, as we were talking about before, what I'm seeing very clearly here. It's interesting because, like, if you look at these two different Hierophants, in this one, the keys are above his head. You know, it's almost like unattainable, like the rules, the restrictions, the structures are all of this. And here, the keys are at her feet, right? So there's this sense of like this ability to be able to take the keys into your own hand. And there's this sense of like broadening your horizons, which is the other part of the Hierophant, being connected to the spiritual and gaining an understanding there, okay? So expected outcome being sort of a broader understanding of yourself and of your connection to the divine and where your keys are, being able to put your hands on the keys that are possible for you. Now you also have the Six of Cups. I'm going to put this over here because has to do with the first part. So you've got the Six of Cups, which is sort of this nostalgia card. It talks about going into your childhood or your inner childhood and sort of reclaiming that innocence. There's sort of a sense of charity here also with the Six of Cups, that there will be a giving that comes to you, a giving and a receiving. You know, I like this with the Hierophant card because there's this sense of that some of what you may be dealing with now is like some old thought processes, some old restrictions that you may even be completely out of your childhood, but you're holding yourself accountable to some sort of childhood restrictions, structures, thought processes about who you are, who you have to be, how you need to live, how you need to walk, etc., 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 how you need to be in relationship to others. What does communication look like? All of those like sort of outdated things that are causing you a lot of anxiety. You know, always, our path doesn't always have to cause us anxiety, but the pieces and parts that do, we need to recognize and extract them from our future, right? And be able to move forward into a path of joy and abundance and balance and self-love so that we have enough love to give to others as well, okay? So you've got the Hierophant, the Six. Wow. Beautiful. And the Empress, okay? And the Empress is creative, fertile, beautiful, abundant, just has so much abundance. She's like also, these are both very charitable cards because this is also about charity, but the Empress is the major arcana and she's like just a beautiful, tapped into herself, knows her being, is prosperous, like I said, is creative, is able to create not just the world, but from the universe, right? So just ultimately abundant. So I love this outcome for you because there's like this sense of expansion and growth, and then the sense of nostalgia and charity, and then this beautiful Empress card here. I love it. Success. Look at that. Okay, I'm really liking this path for you all. This is path B. So you've got success here. Wow, look at that. Success, okay. Oh, and then this is going to be the yes or no oracle. And this, I really feel like the one that this is the dream catcher. That's the first thing that came to mind. So we'll look up what the dream catcher is. I also want to dig into this success card as well. So this beautiful Empress energy. So this is, again, we're talking about what is the expected outcome, okay? What is the expected outcome of choice B, okay? And so for choice B, we're seeing all of these really strong cards of the Hierophant and the Empress and the Six of Cups. And then we've got success. Don't be afraid to fail. It's proof you'll be successful. Your soul is on a mission to bring about your desires, and your higher self acknowledges you've been working very hard to manifest them, okay? And this card is letting you know that success begins in the mind. You must embody a mentality of success in order to achieve. If you think you can, then you will, okay? So recognize that all roads to success are paved with obstacles and unexpected delays. Refrain from believing that these are signs you should walk away from what you are building. They are placed on your path to help you refine your vision. Okay? So the last one of the spiritual laws of success is the law of giving. The universe operates in a constant flow of giving and receiving, and we actively participate in its rhythm by giving back. So this card indicates that if you are on the cusp of completing a project, all of your hard work and perseverance will finally pay off. You will finally receive the rewards you've earned and the acknowledgement and recognition from your community. Give gratitude for what it is you are about to receive. So the main message here to you all is that you need to be already in a space of gratitude, thanking the universe, spirit, your higher power, God, your angels, your gods, however you look at it. Be thanking them on a regular basis for the little things that are occurring in your life so that they can continue to expand. This is it's success is the outcome here. Let's see what the dream catcher says in regards to this yes or no question. Let me see. What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay. And then we will look at the final guidance from Spirit. Okay. So this is pretty early on. Okay. Now this is interesting because it says the cloud cover is too dense and visibility is too low. Ask again. And I feel like what this is saying here, you all, which just came to me very quickly, is that the reason why there's not a clear answer on this path is because there is work to be done here. Okay. There's some introspection and there are choices that you have to make here. And remember, in this day and night card, you are holding the possibility in your hand, but the choice is yours, right? So it's really important that you make the choices that you need to move yourself forward. Allow yourself the introspection time of the hermit, okay? Allow yourself to be transformed, to broaden your horizons so that you can step fully into this Empress energy and into your success. So let's look at the final guidance from Spirit. Interesting. Connection to the hermit. You've got retreat. Spirit guardian of winter. Now, let me see. This is collaborative dreaming. I'm a little bit nervous about the YouTube rules. So we're just going to do this right here. Here we have collaborative dreaming. Okay. So retreat. This reminds me of the Hermit card. And it's really talking about this sort of sense of taking time, pulling away, going within. All right. There's a need for you with this particular choice to take some time. Some of you may have been asking, because it's come up so many times, as to whether or not you should pull away from something or, retreat in some way. And if that has been one of your questions, and I feel like that's a resounding yes, that there is certainly some time that's needed for you right now in order to take a retreat. But I also feel like if you choose choice B, that there will be a need for you to do even further retreat, further going in so that you can heal from some of the suffering that you've been going through. Okay. Now this collaborative dreaming card says your heart is big enough to dream not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. You all are very powerful energies. And, it's interesting because, those that, can suffer at this level, like, well, how can I say this? Can also experience joy at the same depth, right? At the same intensity, the same growth. If you can feel pain at this level of sort of anguish and anxiety that kind of keeps you up, you can also feel love at that level. You can feel joy at that level. You can feel abundance at that level. You can feel laughter at that level. Okay. So I feel like, what Spirit is also saying here, because this is the guidance from Spirit, is that you all are very powerful spirits, and that your growth and your healing, because you've got this here in terms of follow the leader too, that you are going to not only impact your growth, that does not only impact you, but will impact not even just the people around you, but your larger world beyond what you even believe is possible in terms of expansion. Okay. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positively to the greater good, because that is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in the grand scheme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. So you're being asked to honor your growing desire to co-create with conscious, like-minded people. All right. You're being asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Okay. Ideas may clash. There may be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. Sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. But you have what it takes to be able to, grow and impact yourself and your world in really, really profound ways. This is guiding you to stay in your integrity, honor what you feel, and remember why you chose to open up in the very first place. Okay? Yes. Yes, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So this is a lovely path for you as well. Did I read the Dream Catcher? Yes, that was the one. Right. Okay. Sorry. I looked at it. That was the one that was like, the answer is not clear yet. All right. So this is what I see for you all for pile number 2. We've looked at choice A and choice B. I hope that something resonated with you and that it feels clearer to you, at least the components of what each of these choices are, and will hopefully help you to make a choice, a decision to move forward. I feel like Spirit has got your back in whatever direction you choose, and I wish that you make an abundantly joyful choice for your life, for your direction at this time. And I thank you for joining the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is our day. If you have not yet subscribed, please go down there and click that subscribe button for me. I'd love to have you in the community, and I want to continue to grow this community. So I will look forward to seeing you in your next reading. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Bloodstone and this card Play on the Crow deck, then this is going to be your reading. But before we go into the reading, we have to pull the piles for choice A and choice B. So there will be a timestamp for this second card pulling, if you will, and the actual reading. So if you want to jump right into the reading, just click that timestamp for the pile 3 reading. Okay. But right now I'm going to go ahead and pull the cards for pile choice A and choice B. Okay. And then when we get into the actual reading, I will go over the possible situations, scenarios that we might see. And then we will dig into I think this is going to be each of the different choices, what those paths would look like. And that's going to be choice B. Okay, and I'm pulling the cards backwards to how we're going to read it. So right now I'm pulling the guidance from Spirit for each of the choices. So for path A or choice A, this is going to be guidance from Spirit, and then for choice B. Okay, and then we will, coming from the bottom up, then now I'm looking at what is the expected outcome. And this oracle is actually a yes/no oracle. So if there's a specific question that you have around each of the choices, this is what this would be answering. It's not necessarily answering if the choice is the right one for you. Okay, that's what I've found so far in the other 2 readings. So, but if there's a question that you have in mind, I feel like that's what it's really kind of answering. This again, we're looking at what is the expected outcome for choice A and choice B? And we're now pulling the tarot for the expected outcome. Oops, these are not really. The tarot for the expected outcome for A and for B. So for choice A is what we're pulling now, Spirit. We need 3 cards for the expected outcome for A. That one, and that one, and that one. And then for choice B, it's going to be 2, and then I'll do one more for choice B. I feel like it's actually this one. Okay, and then this is speaking to what is the actual journey. What can we expect on the journey of choice A? If we choose choice A, what is that journey going to look like? The process of it. And the journey for choice B. What can we expect for the journey for choice B? Okay. And again, we're looking at what is the journey. So what is the journey for choice A? Oops. Too many cards there. The journey for choice A. Journey for choice A. And the journey for choice B. And then finally, the tarot. What is the journey for choice A? Journey for choice A. That's 1. 2. And journey for choice A. Journey for choice A. Okay. And the journey for choice B. Choice B. Journey for choice B. Okay. All right. So those are going to be our choices and what their paths look like. All right. And so I'm going to pause here for a moment. And then those who have clicked the timestamp, we will go right into the reading. All right, so welcome back. All those who are joining pile 3 and the Bloodstone crystal and this play card from the Crows. Now this card is all about the sense of play, really, and giving yourself an opportunity to pull back from the day-to-day work, obligations, responsibilities, and give yourself the opportunity to be creative, to play, and that will allow you to kind of go back to whatever that the daily task is, even if you're dealing with needing to make a decision about something or to deal with a situation is what I'm getting. Like I don't know if it's like different people that you're dealing with, or like it's like this. I get this sense of like that some of you are like it's more than the daily grind of like work. It's like drama. That's what I'm feeling like. Some of you may be dealing with drama in your life. It could be family drama. It could be like personal drama with friend communities, right? Different communities that you're in that you've just been like plugging away at it. And there's a sense of spirit. It's like there's this need for play, right? There's a need to pull back and allow yourself to be creative in the sense of play. That's what I'm getting from this card. So again, first what we're looking at is like, what is the situation that's kind of going on right now? And so that you can begin to see what choices do you need to look at, and then you'll need to assign what choice is A and what choice is B. And then we will look at those. But right now we're just looking at what is the significators of this reading here. So you've got binoculars. Look closer at the situation. Explore somewhere new. Watch from a distance, but don't get involved. And that's really the sense that I was getting here, that there's like some situation that you're dealing with. It could be, it could be with coworkers. It could be something at work that you're dealing with, or I'm getting very strongly that it could be some family or extended family drama, or it could be like different friend group drama. Like if you have people in kind of different spaces and they've kind of cross-pollinated and it's not quite working in the way that it needs to work, but you've been like sort of the person that's kind of holding down whatever this situation is, whether it's at work or at home or family or whatever it is. And there's a sense that you need to look, if you're looking at it with blinders, kind of take those blinders off and look more closely at what is actually happening. But there's also a sense of like being mindful around it, being more of the observer, taking a step back and being able to look at it from a more neutral, maybe, point of view, and that's why this sort of sense of play can help you to do that, to kind of get your mind off of things and then be able to come back and look at the situation with fresh eyes. All right, so that's what I'm seeing there. And some of you may be feeling like you need to make a choice around the different sides is what I'm getting. Like, I don't know if you feel like you're needing to have to make a choice between people or the dynamic that might be at work or something like that. There's a need. You're feeling like there's a need to make a choice or choose a side. I don't know what that. Interesting. Okay, so you got the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is about conflict. So maybe that's what's going on, is that there is some conflict that's going on in your world. And somehow you are, because it's interesting because this one, he's got like the two of the swords here, but there's like others that are around here. And it's almost like he's kind of holding these swords to keep the others from destroying themselves or destroying each other in a way. I don't often see it this way, but that's what I'm seeing here. So it could be that there is some kind of conflict that you're dealing with within your world. And there's a need for you. You may be feeling like you need to choose sides in some way. Let's see what else we've got here. So you've got the Magician. Okay, and the magician talks about manifestations for sure, and being able to manifest like something from nothing out of your own hands. The other thing that the magician talks about is skill, like being skillful, being innovative, being crafty, I guess is the word, or resourceful. So I'm sort of getting the sense that, because of what you've been dealing with, like you are the one that kind of has this sort of internal power to be able to make things happen, and to shift your world. And some of you may be needing to make a choice about what it is that you actually want to manifest, or, in this case, if there's sides that you need to choose, or like, how do you want to influence the situation, whether it be at work or with family or with friends? Like, what actions do you want to take to influence the situation in some way? Because you actually have a lot of power to be able to influence whatever might be happening with this conflict, okay? And then your final card. Ooh, okay, so you've got the Empress. two very powerful cards. And the Empress is also a creator, right? And so, creative and also fertile and abundant, right? Beautifully abundant, beautifully connected to the inner self and the outer self. So incredibly abundant that her generosity of spirit is that of the mother, like a very mothering, nurturing energy. And so this is kind of what I'm seeing in this situation. And so this could apply to a lot of different situations, as all of them could. So it just depends on, does this resonate with you? And if it resonates with you, then what are the choices that you're looking at? And you'll want to just like take a breath and decide which choice you think is going to be choice A and which one is going to be choice B for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to dig into choice A first. But it's best if you kind of have in mind what your situation is, what you're solving for, what are you trying to decide, and what are the two possible choices that you're looking at. If you have more than those two choices, I'm hearing that, just choose two that seem like the ones that you want to get information on how that path or how that journey would go. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that. I'm going to move. This is choice B. And then this is going to be your significator card. So I'm going to put this over here. All of these are your significator cards. So I'll keep these up here so we kind of know what that energy is. And we'll jump right into choice A. The first thing that we're going to look at is going to be, what does the journey look like if we choose choice A? What does the journey look like? And these are the cards for that. And you've got strength. Beautiful. That hasn't come up yet. Ooh, the Three of Swords. Okay. Look at that. And the Queen of Pentacles. Really strong energy. Sometimes, so the Strength card is about using your inner strength, that part, that quiet strength that is able to tame the beast. In this situation, what I'm really hearing is like sort of tame the beast of the conflict that's going on. Now, sometimes the conflict that's going on, I was reading it as like an external conflict, but it could also be an internal conflict that you're dealing with within yourself. You may be at battle with yourself, okay? Whereas you are the magician within yourself as well and able to manifest what you need to move forward, to step into that Empress energy. Or this could be an external conflict that I was getting a lot of information about in terms of family, career, friend groups, things like that. Now, this path, this choice A, is saying that it's going to require your quiet inner strength, not the gregarious strength, not the, loud strength that we sometimes associate with like those that are strong and boisterous, but a quiet strength is what is called for with this strength card. Being a peaceful presence in the midst of chaos, okay, is really what this calls for. Now, the Three of Swords is a heartbreak card. And I'm getting the sense, you all, that if you are dealing with an external conflict, that the challenge that you have before you is that no matter what choice you make, there's going to be heartbreak. And unfortunately, that heartbreak is going to fall on you as well as others, but that you're going to feel that no matter what choice you make. So for instance, if you're feeling like you're having to choose sides in some way, it's a heartbreak for you. But ultimately, you're going to move to this place of abundance with choice A, because the Queen of Pentacles has worked very hard to get where she is. Okay. So she, like the Empress, she is also abundant. Okay. Abundant and fertile. But one of the things that's really strong about the Queen of Pentacles is that, she's holding on to that pentacle because she's worked for that pentacle. And she has everything that she needs. She's at peace. She's beautiful. She is, sensual. She is abundant. She is prosperous, and she's worked hard to get there. Okay. So there's this sort of sense that on this path, yes, there can be a sense of loss and heartbreak when you exert your inner strength to be able to affect the situations of your life. But ultimately, you can come to this beautiful energy of the Queen of Pentacles, having worked hard and then reaping the beautiful benefits of that working hard. Okay. So this is a nice choice. Spark. Ooh, I haven't seen that in a bit. I love that card. It's all about this sort of spark of creativity and ingenuity. Well, isn't that something? We got this same card in one of the other piles in two. I think it was in pile 2, but I'm not sure. I don't remember if it was choice A or choice B. But anyway, the day and night card here is talking about the need to make choices. And I feel you all, because I feel like you are a little bit in your situation. It feels like you're a little bit stuck between a rock and a hard place, in that it feels like no decision that you would need to make is going to be without harm. Okay. Without harm to yourself, without harm to others, without harm, in general. But the thing is that you need to make a decision. This card is saying that you have, she's holding the sun in her hand. She has everything that she needs to make the decision that she needs to make to move things forward. Okay. But there's a hesitation here. There's a struggle with needing to make the decision and not being 100% clear on what you need to do. Okay. But this path is definitely a path of showing your inner strength. Now, the other thing is that once you are able to kind of move past this part of kind of making decisions and stepping fully into that Queen of Pentacles, then you've got the spark energy, which is like the spark of creativity, the spark of growth, the spark of ingenuity. It's a really, really, it's a really, really lovely card, It's like a spark of love as well. You can see the hearts coming off of that. Okay. So the spark, it's almost like a reward, I feel like, for you stepping into your strength. Okay. This card talks about you being a clear channel of divine creativity. Okay. That there is a creative spark in you, that you have optimism and hope, that you should open yourself to inspiration and allow life to show you its beauty and your part in co-creating it. It's like you stepping into your strength, into your power, and letting the divine infuse you with the creative spark that you alone can bring to the table. Okay. So that is lovely in terms of what the journey would be. And so now we're going to look at what would be the potential outcome of choice A, because now we're looking at choice, and we're still looking at choice A. So what would be the potential outcome? Okay. And the cards you have for that. Ooh, okay. Wait a minute. We got we got these YouTube rules that keep throwing me for a loop, y'all. I can't be flashing you on the reading. Okay. So, but you got the Lover's card. So I don't know if some of you all, I can only show their little feet. Well, there we go. I can show their head. Okay. If some of you all are making a choice about, a relationship, then the Lover card is, it talks about coming together. It talks about a spark of love. But the other thing about the Lover's card that is not always talked about is that it is also about choice, right? It actually depicts the Garden of Eden and the choice that was needed to be made in the Garden of Eden. Okay. So it's ultimately the card is talking about choice and partnership. Okay. And that partnership can be a love connection, a love relationship, some kind, but it can also be I like to say connected hearts or heart-centered connections, right? Which could be family, it could be friends, it could even be work, depending on, like, if you all are connected through passion with your work, right? There's a heart-centered connection. Okay, and so this is saying as an expected outcome that there could be a need for a choice, a partnership, a heart-centered partnership coming together. And then you've also got the Fool, lovely, okay, taking a risk, moving, and the King of Wands. Wow, really strong energies, you all. And there's a lot of creativity here in this path with the spark. And then the King of Wands is like the ultimate leader, creative, passionate, moving things forward, has abundance, has stability. You've got this Fool card, which is about taking a risk towards your dream, moving forward in your life, this sort of sense of childhood abandonment, right? Not abandonment like in a negative way, but abandon, this sort of childhood ease, right? That comes with the Fool card. And these are very strong cards because if you got two major arcana, the Lover's card, and then the Fool card, and then the King of Wands is also a very strong card. So in terms of what is the expected outcome, it feels like this is a very positive outcome of connectedness, taking risks, and creativity, lots of creativity and joy. You can even look at the cards, there's sort of this sense of joy, right? And then you've got pause. Okay, interesting. So there's a need for you within this path here to take some time for reflection. It may be that there's some challenging things that happen here, and there's a need for you to kind of pause, really like have a sense of reflection, go within, making sure the decisions that you're making are coming from a heart-centered space, coming from a balanced space, okay? And then your yes or no oracle. Okay, so let's see. This is interesting. So my immediate pull is that it's going to be the Sage stick. And part of it is because of the pause card here that's coming out for me. And I don't know, this sort of sense of like protection over this that I'm getting. So now this is a yes or no oracle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up the Sage stick because I'm tying it into what I'm actually seeing in the reading here. And it's going to give us a yes or no answer. Now, that yes or no answer is not actually a yes or no answer in relation to this path. So it's not saying, yes, this is the path you should take. No, this isn't the path you should take. It has been showing up as being an answer to a question that you might have in your mind around taking choice A in this situation. So something, it could be you're asking about a person, a place, a thing, or something in association to choosing choice A. Okay. And the answer is, I just passed it. A beam of light cuts through the darkness, and your answer was found, and the answer was no. Okay. So if you had a question around choosing choice A in mind, then what this is saying here is that the answer is no. Okay. So depending on what you had, can depend on what that is telling you. Now let's look at the final guidance from Spirit. Change. I like this card because it's got the dragonfly. And there's such a component. Ooh. And Pandora's gift. Okay, so the dragonfly spirit and change is, it just reminds me of when you think about a dragonfly. Dragonflies can move forward, backward, sideways, spin around, and do whatever they need to do with ease and with grace. And so their adaptability to change, to the obstacles that may show up in their path, is to be able to adjust, to shift, to move, almost as if they're like little insect dancers, right? That move with agility, right? And so there's this sense of the guidance from Spirit is like, Be agile, be flexible, be ready to deal with the change that's going to be coming into your world if you choose to take choice A. All right? Because it's not a bad thing. Change is a good thing, and it opens up new additional ways. And as I said, these outcome cards are actually very, very positive for this choice A. Now, you also have Pandora's box. And Pandora's box, I'm going to take a look at this one because this is a really beautiful card. You know, that idea of Pandora's box, right? Interesting. So, Pandora lives within us as our curious nature, yearning to conquer chaos, evil, and darkness with the light of knowledge. She is the hopeful voice of our soul that asks the questions and in doing so triggers the process that brings the answers. Sometimes it's through uncomfortable learning that we find our treasure. But Pandora reminds us that the process of learning can take us to places that seem like the end of our world, and yet all is not lost, okay? Pandora is all gifted and all giving. Her presence invites you to forego your belief in judgment. Now is the time to surrender the misplaced guilt that you have brought upon yourself or another. Okay? It's time to let go of the shame-based belief in punishment. All right. Wow. You were born to strut your soul stuff. Okay? Yeah, there's a shift that's going to be occurring. And when that shift takes place, you shall dare to look within your own being and find the light. You are being put on divine notice from the sacred feminine that there is a talent and ability within you that needs to be acknowledged. There is a worthy seed of something beautiful and necessary within you. If you choose to develop and express this seed, step by step, it will become an extraordinary light in your life and in the world. Okay? Beautiful. You know, this internal gift, right, is what we're really seeing within this path. So a lot of beautiful messages for this choice A. I'm going to pause the video and then clear this away so that we can jump in and see what choice B might offer us. All right? Okay, pile 3. Let's look at your choice B. So this would be choice B, and we're going to first look at what can we expect on the journey of if we choose choice B. Choice B for pile 3. Okay, so, and you've got, the Queen of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and I don't think this is meant to be reversed, so I'm going to read it upright. The Six of Pentacles. And then you've got Peaks of Joy and the House of Flowers. What a gorgeous card. Okay. So I paused because I started getting downloads and and I realized that I wasn't actually speaking. Okay, the Queen of Wands is a really wonderful energy to be kind of sort of leading this path of what to expect on the journey, right? Because she's a very empowered energy. She is able to manifest things out of her bare hands, as you can see there. She is passionate, she is creative, and she is abundant. She also is very balanced, all right, but very passionate. And I love this because there's such a sense of energy with the Queen of Wands. There's such a sense of movement, a sense of being grounded in oneself on this journey. And then directly following that, you've got the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is lovely because it is a deliberate, diligent move forward toward abundance. You know, he is confident, but he's not in a rush. He's the slowest moving knight. So, but the good part of being the slowest moving knight is that he's diligent and he's completing all of the steps along the way. Okay, so this kind of connection with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles is sort of a nice balance because she brings the fire, she brings the energy, the movement forward, the creativity, right? Where the Knight is like this stable, moving forward step by step, okay? Diligently moving towards success. And then you've got this beautiful Six of Pentacles. Now, the Six of Pentacles talks about a free flow of give and take, an easy flow of give and take. It's not a situation where something is not being reciprocal. It's like as you give, you are receiving, right? So there's this sort of easy flow of give and take, which is a nice sense of harmony and balance, right? Harmony and balance. And so that's what I'm seeing in terms of the journey, right? And then what a beautiful card here. I love this card. This is the Peaks of Joy. Someone else got this card. That's really interesting to me because I really do shuffle these cards. So it's always interesting to me that it would come up again. The odds of it are just interesting. But Spirit has their own odds. God and my guides have their own odds. But this is talking about this burst of like joy. I'm trying to describe the word exuberant joy, right? Of a joy so grand and so big that it is infectious and it hits the other people that are anywhere near you are connected to this, feel this joy and receive it for themselves, right? And then this card is also about transformation because you've got this beautiful butterfly here and there's this sense of like this young girl is like is so joyful that she's like in the air, like she's leapt off the ground so far into the air because of the joy that she's bringing to the table. So all of these cards are really balanced, harmonious, joyful cards, okay? So I want to look into this House of Flowers, which I think is a very beautiful card. And I want to see how this layers in to the rest of the reading. Yeah. So that, you know, it kind of speaks into this joyous jubilancy. I don't know if that's actually a word, but this House of Flowers talks about the power of nature, joy of life, diversity, beauty, okay? It's like, but even a single bloom in a vase can transform a space. Each petal, a world unto itself, and a wonder of creation. This card signals love for life in this moment full of energy, beauty, and joy. So this is what you can expect for choice B. So whatever you chose for choice B, I feel like this is a joyful, stable, balanced energy. Okay. This is what it feels like here. Now let's see, because this is what we're seeing along the journey. Let's see what the expected outcome is for choice B. Okay. So the expected outcome we have pulled. Oh, look at that. The Sun card, joy, happiness, you know, wishes for granted, childhood joy, like childhood innocence and joy, okay? Just gorgeous. You've got the Three of Wands, and the Three of Cups. Look at that. Celebration. Boundaries. Okay, interesting. All right, and then this card here is going to be our Pick a Treasure card, which is going to be your yes, no card, like we had in choice A. But here, yeah, what jumped out at me is the snail. Which is interesting. I don't know if it's because of the night, but none of the other ones jump out at me as much as that snail does. So we will look into the snail. Now, I love this expected outcome that we have so far. One thing that we do have here is this reminder of boundaries, okay? And boundaries, I feel like it's kind of going back to this conflict that we're dealing with here in the overall thing. Now, again, for some of you, that conflict is an external conflict. I feel like the majority of you, it's an external conflict in terms of dealing with other people, the job, the family, the friend group, okay? But for some of you, it is also an internal conflict, okay? So when we talk about boundaries, boundaries is saying love yourself enough to set boundaries. So that's going to be setting boundaries with others and setting boundaries with yourself. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how to use it. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept. Okay? So boundaries are going to be important to this outcome, and if you haven't been setting boundaries along the way, by the time you get to the outcome of choice B, you're going to be more proficient in setting boundaries, okay? The card is asking you to set boundaries for yourself. Your health, abundance, goals, and mindset are being affected by your personal relationships. If you find yourself feeling drained while spending time with friends, then it is time to reassess those relationships. These situations call for honesty. You are always the one giving and not receiving. Are you always the one giving and not receiving? Are you spending an excessive amount of time listening to their problems? If so, then these are unbalanced relationships and require open and honest communication between both parties to bring the friendship back into balance. All right? So be mindful of that, that you're going to need to be able to set boundaries. But the general outcome is sort of like this joy and happiness of the sun. The Three of Wands is this idea that some foundations that you have begun to lay along the journey, you will be at a place where you'll be looking out and watching those ships come in, watching the seeds that you've planted begin to grow and blossom, okay? Watching the messages that you've sent out come in, The Three of Cups is this sense of like heart-centered celebration with friends. There's something that you're going to accomplish in this journey of of choice B that is going to be a call for celebration, okay? A call for celebration with friends and family and whoever is close to you, whoever holds your heart, right? Because it's a heart-centered celebration, okay? So this path is actually looking very positive. I feel like both paths were different, but definitely had their own gems in it. Now it's interesting because if you had a question associated with choice B, this is what the answer was to that question. Again, I don't think that these answers are an answer as to whether or not this is the right path. It's just an answer to a question that you had around this path, okay? And the answer to the question is, like a ball of fire burning in the sky, your answer is clear and bright, no, okay? So that is what this card is calling for. And again, we're talking about expected outcomes and a question that you may have had around choice B. Now, finally, let's look for the guidance from Spirit. Uncertainty. and focus on the light. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. So in the uncertainty card, the thicket of thorns, what they're talking about here is that, like, when you're in a thicket or a bramble, I think is what they call it. When you're in a thicket or bramble, if you feel like, okay, I'm stuck in here, it's kind of got a hold of your clothes. It may have already, torn some holes in it as you've been trying to get out. The more you struggle to try to get out of something that is a bramble or a thicket of some kind, and this could be your struggle within your personal life, okay? The more you actually struggle to get out, the more you kind of cut yourself up. What you need to do is relax into it and allow the path to be made forth, right? This uncertainty of not knowing how the path is going to open up before you, but having a sense of trust and faith that it will open up before you. Okay, this is the message or guidance from Spirit. So this is a sense of, like, release your struggling, release your struggling. Play, right? There's this sense of going back to this idea of there's a need for you to play, to pull back, okay, from whatever it is that you're struggling from, so that you can be creative, so that you can have a broader mindset about how to move forward. And then you've got this beautiful focus on the light. This talks about not only the external light or the spiritual light that might be around you, but also your internal light, and allowing your internal light to connect with the external light of the divine and illuminate all that is before you, illuminate your world, help you to see clearly what direction you need to go. Okay. So this is gorgeous, you all. It's a beauty. I mean, honestly, I think that both of the journeys for this pile have their benefits. Like they both have their benefits, and they may have a struggle, but hopefully this gave you some insight into your situation. I hope that it resonated with you, and I hope that you are able to make a joyfully abundant choice for yourself and for your life and for your loved ones. And I want to thank you so much for joining the Abundant Joy Tarot. This is Ade. If you have not yet subscribed and you like the videos that I'm giving to you, please click that subscribe button down there. I want to continue to grow this community, and I'd love to have you be a part of the community. Please like, share, or drop a comment down there. Let me know what resonates with you. And if you have any ideas or suggestions for reading topics that you'd like, I'd love to hear that as well. And anything that brings you joy. So that is that. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next reading. Okay, bye-bye.